Tomorrow, Rangers lift the Scottish Premiership trophy at Ibrox, a momentous occasion preceded by an incredible season for the club. Joining me now to reflect on that and also to talk about what comes next at Ibrox is Alex McLeish. Alex, it's great to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, good to see you too,
Kirsten.
Kirsten.
If you were going to pinpoint, one or a couple of reasons responsible for the success this season, where would you start? Why have Rangers been so dominant?
I feel that one of the most important things that happened this season was recruitment. Recruitment was much stronger than it had been the last couple of years. Now, there is a saying in football that you're only as good as your strikers. Now, Stevie invested in a couple of strikers because if you look at the last couple of years, Kirsten, there was periods after the Christmas, New Year, when Rangers kind of died a death a wee bit, in the last two title races, when they were looking in good position, neck and neck with Celtic. And then they had injuries and sometimes suspensions to Alfie, and of course Jermaine Defoe is not a spring chicken, but you still see that he's a marvellous asset to Rangers this season with his goal in the Celtic game. So when those two were out, then it left a void, and Stevie had to kind of resort to playing like Scott Arfield more in a centre forward position, and he did well a few times, but they never quite had that, what I say, the strikers who made the difference. And Kemar Roof come in this season, and you've got to admit he scored some spectacular goals, but also he scored a lot of goals, a right few goals that have helped Rangers to get through that period. Cedric Itten yet to settle in really, but again, he's come in with a couple of important goals just when Rangers maybe looked like heading for a draw. I think up at St Johnstone once, and Cedric scored the goal. That for me is a difference this season.
What will lifting the trophy mean to Steven Gerrard, Gary McAllister, and indeed all the coaching staff, Alex?
Well, he's come from a huge, a colossal club at Liverpool to another colossal club in Rangers. No matter what you say, okay, and the league is not the strongest in Europe, but Rangers are one of the biggest teams in the world. When we talk about fan support, fan base, and the popularity of them throughout the world. And so Stevie's come with that mentality from Liverpool. It's only his first managerial job, incredible. Having only coached the youths to take the title away from Celtic, going for 10 in a row in his first gig, it's really remarkable. A couple of years there, he spent building, and he's been a very humble guy. You would think Stevie Gerrard would come up and be boasting and be the superstar that he is, but he's been absolutely very humble, and he's represented Rangers with real class and dignity.
Yeah, Walter Smith, unfortunately, he won't make it to Ibrox, and Steven has said that he'll bring the trophy to him, which I think is just, again, like you say, it just shows real class. And also, it just shows how much respect Steven has for the club, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and ask him to bring the trophy down to me in London as well, will you? Yes, again, he's thinking of Walter, Ibrox legend, and one of the greatest ever, and get well soon, Walter. And it's a marvellous gesture, but everybody's always thinking about Walter anyway, and we're all right behind him, making him stronger, and we hope to see him soon.
A huge day if you're a Rangers fan. How does this rank for you in terms of all-time Rangers achievements?
Well, it's a great achievement when you consider the last 10 years or so, and maybe even longer, 12. And when Rangers were thrown out of the league, it was, I think, 4 seasons when Celtic, were able to dominate. And and of course they have dominated since Rangers come back in as well. You know, to be fair and give credit to Celtic for a marvellous run of league titles, but Rangers were playing a bit of catch up, you know, in terms of finances and trying to the quality of player to try and enhance the you know, that side of it is, of course, that's the most important thing. And finally done it. You know, as we said, Stevie's actually kind of mimicked Jurgen Klopp in a way. You know, when you see Klopp going into Liverpool, it took him to, I think, the third season or maybe the fourth season to get that elusive title that Liverpool have won for many, many years. And, you know, it's a similar story. Stevie has built a team, as I said, the first couple of years, it didn't quite work out. The strikers, you know, Alfie getting suspended a few times, and Jermaine sometimes couldn't play every single game, and they had to adjust a wee bit. But as we say, this season, that's what he's got right. And on the third season, I think Klopp brought in Virgil van Dijk, you know, and he totally transformed the team as well. And that's the importance of individuals, you know, that makes a manager great as well. I met Arsene Wenger once, and at London Colney training ground, I spent a week with him and talking to him. You know, I said, "What makes great managers, Arsene?" And he looked around about furtively and whispered in my ear, "Great players." So no, it's not quite as simple as that. You know, you need a bit of charisma. The coach must connect with the players, and Jurgen Klopp is one of those guys, and Steven Gerrard is one of those guys as well.
On that note, what is next at Ibrox? Because we are expecting plenty of activity in that transfer window, aren't we?
Well, there is word of a Belgian striker coming, and if listen, they made quite an impact in Europe as well, and you know, I think what is different from the Europa League to the Champions League, there is a little bit of a gulf, and the teams tend to go from Europa League status to Champions League, and they end up kind of the bottom of the group stages, and some of the huge teams can sometimes embarrass you. But if you look at Rangers this year, they're also going into the Champions League, I think, with Porto. So Porto are in there, and Rangers held their own with Porto in 2 games in the Europa League. I think 2 draws, you know, two big draws. And that says a lot about the current Rangers squad. To win in the Champions League, you know, they may have to add 1 or 2 other players of just a wee bit higher quality, and if they want to try and progress, and if they don't want to, you know, be in the end of sometimes a big beating, you know. But the way Rangers defence is structured at the moment, they can be very, very difficult to beat when they want to be. And also when they open up, you know, you've got guys like James Tavernier assisting, scoring 18 goals or something, and assisting with about 14 or even more. So they have a lot of scope in their team, and to take that next step is significant. That is a much more difficult task, and I would think that we've got to, you know, keep expectations not too high that Rangers are going to storm to the latter stages of the Champions League. If they do, I think that will be another achievement in itself. So, you know, we have to be patient and say, right, let's see what the start of next season brings.
It is an exciting time to be a Rangers fan, though, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a few 100,000, maybe millions of Rangers fans that are very, very ecstatic about winning title number 55.